Dear friends. Hello, everyone. Today, we're diving into an important topic that I think every parent wonders about: how to set boundaries with your child. This isn't always easy, but it's one of the most valuable tools we can give our children. Boundaries help them grow into balanced, secure, and independent adults. I'll break down some key insights into setting healthy, respectful boundaries and provide some practical steps to get you started. 1. Why do children need boundaries? First, let's talk about why boundaries are so essential. Boundaries help children feel safe. They provide structure, give children a sense of security, and guide them in understanding the world around them. You might think boundaries are about saying no all the time, but they actually help children learn self-control, responsibility, and empathy. Kids are naturally curious and will push limits. When they do, boundaries are there to gently show them what's safe and acceptable. Imagine a world without any rules. That's overwhelming, especially for a young mind. Boundaries create that healthy structure, and it becomes a foundation for them to rely on as they grow. 2. Start with empathy and respect. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being overly strict. Children respond much better when we approach them with respect and empathy. Kids want to feel heard and valued. So, when they push against a rule, it's not always about defiance. Sometimes, they're testing to understand, or they're simply curious. For instance, if a child is upset about bedtime, it helps to acknowledge their feelings. Instead of just enforcing bedtime, you might say, "I know you want to stay up a little longer because you're having fun, but rest is important for our bodies." When children feel understood, they're more likely to accept boundaries and rules because they see that these boundaries are made for their well-being, not as arbitrary limits. 3. Set clear, consistent, and age-appropriate boundaries. Children thrive on consistency. Once you've set a boundary, stick to it. For example, if you set a screen time limit of 1 hour, make sure to keep it consistent each day. Flexibility is needed from time to time, of course, but consistency helps children understand the rules and predict the consequences of their actions. And, very importantly, adapt your boundaries to your child's age and developmental stage. What works for a toddler may not be the same as what works for a teenager. Younger children need simpler, clearer instructions. For example, instead of saying, "Be good," say, "Please share your toys with others." Older children, on the other hand, might need more complex reasoning and even a bit of negotiation as they learn to express themselves and develop independence. 4. Involve them in the process. Here's an interesting approach that works well as kids grow older: involve them in setting the rules. When children feel a sense of ownership, they're far more likely to respect and follow boundaries. For example, if you're setting rules around homework, ask your child what they think is a reasonable amount of time to spend on it. Of course, you still have the final say, but involving them shows respect for their opinions and helps them take responsibility. This technique empowers them to make choices within limits, and it becomes a valuable lesson in self-discipline. 5. Be a role model. Children watch and mimic us more than we often realize. If you want your child to respect boundaries, you need to model that respect yourself. Show them what healthy boundaries look like in your relationships and daily life. For instance, if you want your child to respect other people's belongings, make sure you show respect for their things too. If they have a special toy, ask permission to use it instead of assuming you can take it. Likewise, if you want them to handle disagreements calmly, demonstrate how you resolve conflicts without raising your voice. Remember, you're their primary example, so model the behavior you wish to see in them. 6. Focus on positive reinforcement. Acknowledge and reward good behavior when they respect boundaries. Praise goes a long way in teaching children to follow the rules because they'll associate respect for boundaries with positive outcomes. It doesn't have to be anything grand. A simple "I'm proud of you for sharing today," or a high five for cleaning up after themselves can make a huge difference. Positive reinforcement boosts their confidence and helps reinforce the idea that good behavior is rewarding. 7. Give room for mistakes and growth. It's natural for children to test boundaries, make mistakes, and sometimes even break the rules. That's okay. Mistakes are part of the learning process. When they slip up, use it as a learning opportunity rather than rushing to punish. For example, if they've stayed up past their bedtime, calmly explain why sleep is important rather than scolding them. Over time, they'll begin to understand the purpose behind each boundary. This approach also helps children build resilience. They learn that, while there are consequences for their actions, there's also room for growth and improvement. 8. Teach the why behind each boundary. As children grow, explain why certain rules exist. Children are more likely to respect boundaries when they understand the reasoning. For instance, if you have a rule about finishing homework before playtime, explain that it helps them focus and retain information better. When children understand that rules are for their benefit, they're much more inclined to accept them, and it helps foster a deeper trust between you and your child. 9. Stay calm and patient. Setting boundaries requires patience and a calm approach. There will be times when your child tests your limits, and it might be frustrating, but remember to stay calm. A calm response shows them that boundaries are not about power struggles, they're about respect and safety. Patience is especially important in the early stages, as it can take time for children to adjust to new boundaries. Remain steady, keep your expectations realistic, and trust the process. 10. Encourage open communication. Finally, let's talk about the importance of keeping communication open. Encourage your child to come to you when they're confused or struggling with a rule. This fosters trust and helps them feel safe sharing their thoughts. If they have concerns, listen and address them, but remember to stand by the boundary if it's important. Sometimes, children will surprise us with their perspectives, and we might even reconsider certain rules based on what they share. This doesn't mean abandoning boundaries, but rather, showing flexibility when it aligns with their growth. So, that's a guide to setting effective boundaries with your child. Remember, boundaries aren't walls, they're guideposts, guiding them as they navigate the world. Be patient, be consistent, and most importantly, show them love and respect along the way. Thank you for watching, and if you have any other parenting questions or need advice on setting specific boundaries, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with other parents who might need a little guidance. See you next time. Thank you.